Hey, what's up? This is Daryl D back with another Richard Corben comic video. I think this is number 20. This is episode number 20. Man, I got a lot of Corben books, huh? And this is magazine edition number 8, I think. Check the description if you really want to know the accurate whatever with this. Anyway, I want to show you some books that I have added to my collection probably within the last, I don't know, few months. Maybe last 3, 4 months. I'm not exactly sure. Now, keep in mind, I only show so many of these books per video because quite often I I have a lot more than I actually want to show in one video because the video then would be like an hour long. And I kind of like taking my time and showing you guys each issue of what I actually have. There's a few of these books that ended up in other videos I spoke about briefly um, because it was probably where I actually picked it up or something like that, some type of haul or something. So there's a few of these that I want to show you that'll be under that range. Um, I don't think I showed this. Anyway, the first one I want to show you today, and I pulled out 10 books, I believe. Uh, this is 1984, the very first issue. Now, I did show you this video, or this book, probably well over a year ago. It might have been a little longer than that. But as I mentioned in the Old Man Con video, the latest one I did, I went to that convention here in town, and there were a few books that I bought that I had already, but the price was right. And so I decided, hey, why not grab another copy, you know. I didn't find a ton of stuff. If you go back and you look at the other old man video, I kind of talk about what I found, and or the fact that I didn't find quite as many as I would have liked. So I took the liberty in spending some money somewhere else. Now I believe this book was like either $5 or less. It was somewhere probably between $3 and $5, and it's like fantastic condition. So yeah, I picked up another copy. Why not, right? Um, this is a copy of Creepy that I spoke about briefly in that video. This is one of the books I picked up there. Again, this featured a story. This is Creepy. I should tell you what these. This is Creepy number 68 from 1975. And this has a Corben story called Anti-Christmas. You know what I mean? Just in time for this pagan holiday to roll around, too. Not till we just entered that time of year. Let's take a look at that real quick and see what this is talking about. Okay, so here we go. Man, I love these colors from the 70s that Corben did. Obviously, the title says it all. As I'm looking, it's like a modern rendition of the story of Jesus being born, except with this one, there's a modern couple who give birth to like a deformed type of baby, and it looks like there's a barn and a manger, and yeah, I guess you got some people going nuts here. I haven't read this yet, by the way. Otherwise, I'd be able to explain it a little better for you, but you kind of get the idea of what that is. And it looks like it almost kind of seems like the whole this whole issue is about this demonic pagan holiday. So there you have it. I like those kind of stories. This was one I briefly spoke about. This was another one I picked up at the con. This was the only Corben book that I picked up there. No, I take that back. There was a few of them that I was able to add to my collection that I didn't have already. This is Heavy Metal November from 1992. I don't see a issue number on here. That's the one thing I don't understand about these heavy metal books is some of them they would put the actual issue number, and then some of them they would put like the month and date on there and not the issue number. So I don't know. I don't know why they did that. Anyway, this one was $2, and I think I remember what this story was about. But let me just make sure, because there's one of these books in here that it's a little bit raunchy for YouTube, as far as I'm concerned. Let's find that Corben story. Come on, where is it? Of course it's the first story. Okay, yes. I can't show you any of this. But I will say that the name of the story is called Boggs Deal. Now, maybe somebody can help me with this. It says Boggs Deal, but this character is Den. There's no doubt about it. This is the Den character. So somebody, and I don't see mention of Den's name anywhere in here as of yet. Oh yeah, Den. Okay. So I was gonna say, like, does anybody know of the Den character being in stories that weren't labeled Den? Apparently, the answer to that is yes. So this is Boggs Deal. We'll need to look at that, but that ain't bad for $2, right? I'll take that all day. Somehow I almost feel like I've shown this to you before, but just in case I haven't, I think maybe I showed you issue number 33. This is issue number 32 of Vampirella. Okay, now as I've mentioned before, I've never been a fan of Vampirella. I just never got into that character. Never. To this day, I don't think I've ever read a Vampirella story. I probably did when I was a lot younger, only because I would get my hands on anything I could possibly, well, I would read anything, I should say, I could possibly get my hands on. So, but this definitely, when I found out that Corben appeared in some of her books, I had to go searching for him. Now, Vampirella has always been like a pricey kind of book. I know every time it went from a point of never seeing these, not that I was looking for them, but never seeing them, to seeing them quite regularly. And I'm talking about over the span of the last 4 or 5 years. They seem to have just kind of come out of nowhere, and they're every place that I've come across them, they seem really pricey. Last time I was in Chicago, pricey. There's a store here that's got a ton of them, super pricey. The ones at the conventions that I see, super pricey. Every now and then I will find one that's reasonably priced. I believe the first one I showed you was issue number 33, and I got that one for super cheap, maybe $5 or $6, because the back of the cover had come completely detached from the book. So I got that, which is fine with me. It's gonna stay in the bag anyway, so that wasn't a big deal. I was just happy to find one, and it was I can't remember I can't remember the title of that story, but it was basically about a monster that some kid kept in his basement that was eating people. It sounds like Richard, huh? So let me see if I can find this story. That's not it, is it? No. If I remember correctly, the vampirellas that I've seen thus far, his stories have always appeared in color. And so far, the only story that I'm seeing that is in color is not him. So this one must be in black and white. Is that it? That can't be it. No. Okay, something's going on here. Hold on. Ah, that's it. Okay, so Richard Corben did the colors on the one story in here that actually has colors. That's what it is. And I've shown you books like that too. So this is a story called Harry by Jeff Jones. So those are Richard's colors, I suppose. Man, I tell you, they don't look like his colors, but hey, okay, whatever you say, right? Huh. Seems to be some story about a little girl and her stuffed animal doll. And what is this? There's another story in here. Could that be the same story? Is that a part of the same story? Yeah, there's another story right after that, and it's called Dead Run. And this is only like 2 pages long. It doesn't list a writer or an artist. I am guessing maybe it's a continuation of the first story. I'm not sure. Anyway, it says right here in the table of contents, if you will, that the interior color is Richard Corben. So he obviously did the colors on both of those stories, or the one story that continues with a different title. That's a new one on me. Okay. So let's get this back in the bag safely, and let's keep moving. Now, this was one I recently found, StarQuest Comics from 1978, and I don't see an issue number at all. Maybe this was just a one-off. There's a story in here called Judas, a Corben story in here. I did get to flip through this, and it was definitely in black and white. So check this out. So the shading in here was just too dark. I hope you guys can see that all right. Just too dark. Very unusual. I don't know if this was done on purpose like this or by mistake or whatever, but this is probably one of the darkest in terms of color that I've ever seen. Very dark, very blurry, and just the blackness is just kind of scattered. I mean, can you see that? Like, would anybody agree with me on that? Definitely that classic Richard Corben style, but I don't know. It's almost like the ink kind of bled a little into like a slight blur of sorts or whatever. But nonetheless, I'm glad that I was able to add this to my collection. I had never seen this one before. And where's that going? Over here. I've never seen that one before. Continuation, another Corben book. This one is from July 1993. This definitely needs a new bag and board. The board's too small. I left it in here just to show you the state of which I found it. Let's take a quick look inside. Let's take this off because this is getting replaced anyway. Ooh, this is in perfect condition. 1993. Back when this was still just $3.95. Let's find it. I could go to the table of contents, but it's a little bit more fun to flip through. Here we go. Ooh, this looks incredible. This is a story called, oh, where'd it go? Oh, Mola the Mole. Let me see if I can find something. Let me give you guys a little. Mola the Mole. Wow, that is really weird. I'll give you a little taste of what that artwork looks like. I hope I'm showing that okay. The sun is like shining right in my face, so it's kind of hard to see into the camera screen. But yeah, that's an interesting story. Man, I could, from the way the art looked, I could really dig a whole magazine on that story. I suppose a lot of his characters or stories or whatever could have really stretched a lot further than four or five pictures. Next up, one of my favorite magazines, Warren magazines of all time, Eerie. This is issue number 64. Let's see what Richard had in store in here. Ooh, is that it? That's gotta be it. Okay, this looks like a gangster story called The Butcher. Ooh, get away from me. Get away from me. God. Bees. Alright, so check this out. This is called The Butcher. Black and white. Man, I would love, it would have been so cool for Rich to have done a whole book just on gangster stuff. Like a whole series, a whole run of gangster books. And basically, he may have. Like, I haven't read half of the Richard Corben comics that I even own. I have that many. I've been buying just comics in general so rapidly. There's no way I can keep up. I'm so behind. You know, you guys would be ashamed of me if I actually told you. Looking forward to diving into that a little heavier. Okay, we got a classic one from April of 1979 of heavy metal. Let's take a quick look. Man. Need some new bags and boards on some of these. Oh, okay. This is Sinbad in the Land of the Time, or Finn. Am I saying that right? In the Land of the Finn. Oh yeah. I've read these. I remember reading these as a kid. Check out some of this art. Man, this brings back so much memories of back in the day. Now, Oh, it might have been around 79. It was definitely the early 80s when I would come across heavy metal, get my hands on one. Um, Back in those days, I used to love any kind of comic magazine back then. I think my favorite at the time was was the Rampaging Hulk magazine, and the Hulk magazine would actually have Iron Man stories in it. They'd have an Iron Man story in the back of some of them, and to see Iron Man in this older version of the Iron suit than I was, what I kind of grew up on in the 80s, mid 80s. That was that was pretty cool, pretty cool. Um, Last one I want to show you is issue number 3 of The Spirit. I've definitely shown you this book, not this book, but The Spirit magazine before, one or two other times, I believe. And as mentioned, Corben did the colors, just like the other book I showed you. He doesn't do any stories in here, but this is all his coloring inside of the book. So yeah, I'm not sure how many of the Spirits magazines are like that. I think I have at least 3, but I haven't done any research to see how many of them exactly um, features just his coloring on this particular title. It's been a while. I came across online a website, and it wasn't Corbin's website, but it was a website, and it cataloged every last single book that Corben has ever been in. And I was so happy that I found it and so excited and felt like, okay, I can kind of relax. I don't have to search as much. This might be my one stop shop to finding all of these Corben books that I'm looking for. And I believe at the time I just put Richard Corben in Google, and I believe it popped up. It was like one of the first few, and I didn't bookmark it. I didn't screen save it. I didn't write down the website because I figured when I went back to it next, it would just be as simple as going back to Google. And I have not been able to find that website. Does anybody know what I'm talking about? If so, let me know. Leave me a message down in the comments and let me know. Because I would love to go back. I might just have to do some searching and digging around and find it. It's as simple as that. So, yeah, that's it for now. Thank you guys for hanging out. I love showing off my Corben books, and I have a lot more to show you. All right. Until next time, thank you guys again. And this is Daryl D signing off. Peace and love.